Hello everyone, welcome to the second course of telecommunication. In this chapter we will talk about what telecommunication are, how data is transmitted, the different type of networks, their application, security aspect, and finally mobile networks and the cellular concept. What telecommunication means and what engineers do. So telecommunication is the field of science and technology that deals with sending information and signals over distance. It allows global communication between peoples, business, and devices. Telecommunication engineer design the systems and equipment used for phones, the internet, and data transfer. They must know electronics, digital and analog systems, microelectronics, and information technology. Let's talk about some historical part. So let's take a quick look at how telecommunication involved work history from early communication method to today, satellite internet. So the first communication technology is the smoke signal used by the Native American peoples. The second technology of telecommunication is the optical telegraphy, and Marconi has created the radio, and the first radio station were created and in France. The Eiffel Tower station over the first regular programs, and the most creative thing in communication is the creation of the internet in United States of America. And finally, we'll talk about the Starlink, which is a satellite internet service provided owned by SpaceX. You have a constellation of satellites who offer us telecommunication and internet. If we will talk about the transmission technology, we have two technologies or two transmission technologies. The first is the wired transmission, and the second is the wireless transmission. In the wired transmission, we have coaxial cables and the fiber optic cables. In the wireless transmission, we have the radio wave and the microwave. For the wired transmission technology, we should carry a signal through cables. Examples include copper, coaxial, and fiber optic cables. Fiber optic are especially fast because they use light instead of electricity, offering high speed and low signal loss. For the wireless technologies, we have the Wi-Fi, the cellular network, the Bluetooth, and the Zigbee technology. If we will talk about the advantage and disadvantage of each type of transmission, we can see that for the wired transmission technology, we have stability and high transmission speed, but they are limited by the need of physical cables. For the wireless technology, offer great mobility and remote connectivity, but they can have some interface and some range limitations. Let's talk now about the communication networks. For the communication network, we can see or we can talk that there are complex structures that enable the transmission and the reception of information, data, signals over very distance. They are from the basic of modern communication and can be classified into several categories according to their size and scope. So we can see we have local area network, the smallest type of networks, generally limited to specific geographic areas such as network in a home, office, or school. Wide area networks cover greater distance and are used to connect to remote office, company, branches, and other entire cities. For the MAN network, it's a computer network that connects computer within metropolitan area, which can be a single large city, several towns and villages, or another large area with multiple buildings. The internet is the largest global network, connecting billions of devices and used around the world. As we can see here, for the network topology, we have topology is how devices are connected. Common topology include a star topology, a ring topology, bus topology, and finally the mesh topology. The most topology used in telecommunication or network things is the mesh topology. For the communication protocols, we can see uh, the communication protocol control how data is exchanged between devices. Example, TCP/IP for the internet, SMTP for emailing, HTTP for websites. Protocol makes sure communication and clear and organized communication and internet browser. If we will talk about the telecommunication application, we can see that we can have telecommunication in mobile phones and smartphone, in social media and online communication, emailing systems, digital television and radio, business communication, remote monitoring and telemedicine systems, data transfer and cloud computing. Now, if we will talk about the security in telecommunication, the security in telecommunication are very important to guarantee a quality of service of the internet or of telecommunication. So if we will talk about the cyber security is the protection of systems, networks, and data against online threats such as virus, malware, DDoS attack, and extrusion. Business and organization must implement security measures to protect their communication systems. The goal of cybersecurity is to limit risk and protect IT equipment from attacks with many techniques. The second thing, we have the confidentiality of communication, network and data security. And if we will talk about the attack, we can see the phishing, the targeted phishing, the identity theft, the denial of service or the DDoS attack, and finally the malware. And now, if we will talk about the mobile networks, also known as the cellular network, are telecommunication infrastructure designed to enable wireless communication across large geographic area. They are used in mobile phone service, data transmission, internet connectivity, and many lot of things in mobile networks. Mobile networks have evolved through generation, from the first generation to the fifth generation, offering constant improvement in speed, capacity, and latency. As we can see here, the difference between the first generation, the second generation, the third generation, and finally the fifth generation. The cellular concept. For the cellular concept, we can see now, and each small area we can call her a cell. Each cell is served by a base station, and the base station receive and emit signal through mobile phones. For the handover concept, when a mobile user moves from one cell to another while using a service, the network must perform a handover to ensure that communication remains continuous. Handover is an essential function of mobile networks, allowing user to move from one cell to other without without interrupting calls or connection. And thank you.